Every culture speaks of a world beneath our own. A place where the dead travel, where secrets are buried, where gods rule unseen, and where the living are forbidden to enter. This is the Underworld. But what secrets lie beyond its gates? What is the Underworld? The Underworld is known as the hidden realm of the dead. A place of shadows, rivers, and gates, where souls are guided after death. But why does it appear in nearly every culture, across every age of history? Perhaps because humanity has always feared the unknown afterlife. Myths from around the world. In Greek mythology, the underworld, often called Hades, after its ruler, is the realm of the dead, a shadowy place beneath the earth where souls go after death. It's not quite the same as the Christian concept of hell. Rather, it's a vast and complex domain with different regions for different kinds of souls. This is what makes up the underworld. Who rules it? Hades rules the underworld, with his queen Persephone, whom he abducted from the mortal world. Unlike the devil in later traditions, Hades is not evil, he is stern, fair, and inevitable, representing death's inescapable nature. Entrance: souls enter through dark caves, deep chasms, or through rivers like the Styx. The soul's journey begins with crossing one of the rivers, usually with help from Charon, the ferryman, if the soul has proper burial rites and payment, a coin placed in the mouth or hand of the dead. The 5 rivers, each river symbolizes an aspect of death. Number 1, Styx. It is a river of hatred, most famous, and used for binding oaths. In Greek mythology, it is a prominent figure associated with both a goddess and a river, both named Styx. She is the goddess of the river Styx, which forms the boundary between the world of the living and the underworld. Number 2, Acheron, river of woe or sorrow. Number 3, Lethe, river of forgetfulness. Souls of the dead drink from it to forget their past lives. Number 4, Phlegethon, river of fire. Number 5, Cocytus, river of lamentation, tears, and wailing. Notable guardians: Cerberus, the 3-headed hound, guards the gates so no soul escapes. Shade is the spirit or ghost of a dead person, residing in the underworld. Regions of the underworld. Tartarus, the deepest, most terrible pit, a prison for the titans and great sinners, like Tantalus, Sisyphus, and Ixion. Asphodel Meadows, a neutral place where most ordinary souls dwell, pale and ghost-like, without joy or torment. Elysium, Elysian Fields, a paradise for the righteous, heroic, or blessed souls, filled with light and joy. Fields of Punishment, for souls who committed crimes against the gods or humanity. Judges of the dead, Minas, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus judge souls and decide their fate in the underworld. In short, the Greek underworld is not simply a place of eternal torment, but a realm that reflects justice, fate, and the afterlife's mysteries, a balance of reward, punishment, and shadowy existence. In Norse legends, Underworld is called Helheim, a cold, desolate place ruled by Hel, Queen of the Dead. The Egyptians called it the Duat or Tuat, a dangerous journey where the heart of the dead was weighed against the feather of truth. Why is it so mysterious? The underworld is feared because it is unreachable to the living. It is sealed off by rivers, guarded by monsters, and ruled by gods. Crossing into it means one thing: leaving the world of the living forever. The symbolism of the underworld, but the underworld is more than a land of death. It represents our deepest fears, the darkness within us, and sometimes, even the chance for rebirth. Every descent into the underworld is also a journey back, stronger, wiser, and transformed. Modern interpretations. Today, the underworld still fascinates us. In books and films, like Percy Jackson and Coco, it becomes a place of adventure. In games like Hades and God of War, it is filled with danger and glory. But no matter the version, it always holds the same mystery: what lies beyond death. The underworld is not just a world of shadows. It is a mirror of our greatest fears, and perhaps, the key to our deepest truths. Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus was the son of the muse Calliope, goddess of epic poetry, and Apollo, god of music and light. He was the greatest musician and poet of the ancient world. His music was so beautiful that it could charm wild animals, calm raging rivers, and even soften the hearts of gods. Eurydice was a beautiful nymph, whom Orpheus deeply loved. They married, and their love was profound and pure. Soon after their wedding, Eurydice was bitten by a venomous snake while walking in a meadow. She died suddenly and descended into the underworld. Devastated, Orpheus refused to accept her death. With his lyre, he decided to journey into Hades, the realm of the dead, to bring her back. Journey to the underworld. Orpheus played his lyre and sang so mournfully and beautifully that he moved everyone he encountered. Cerberus, the three-headed hound, allowed him to pass. The souls of the dead wept as they listened. Even Hades and Persephone were touched. They agreed to let Eurydice return with him, on one strict condition: he must not look back at her until they had both fully emerged from the underworld. Orpheus began the long journey upward, Eurydice silently following. As they neared the exit, doubt consumed him. What if Hades tricked him and she wasn't really there? Just before stepping into the sunlight, he turned back to see her. For a brief moment, he saw Eurydice, but because he looked too soon, she was pulled back into the underworld forever. Orpheus was heartbroken. He wandered the earth, singing sorrowful songs. Some versions say he refused the love of all women, and in anger, a group of Maenads, followers of Dionysus, killed him. In the end, Orpheus was reunited with Eurydice in death, and they were said to walk together in the underworld for eternity. Some stories are not written in books. They linger in whispers, told only at night, when shadows grow longer, and when lanterns burn low. Here's another story about Underworld. The Descent of Auras, a forgotten folktale of the underworld. In an isolated village, there lived a farmer named Auras. By all accounts, he was a simple man, hard-working, quiet, devoted only to his fields and to his young wife. But when a brutal winter swept across the land, death took her before her time. Her body was buried, yet Auras could not bury his grief. For nights without end, he walked to the forest's edge, carrying a single lantern. He would light it and call her name, hoping, somehow, she might answer. The villagers whispered that he was losing his mind. But Aura swore that the lantern's flame flickered differently when he called, that it bent toward the ground, as if leading him somewhere. One moonless night, he followed. Guided by the trembling flame, Aura descended into a cavern hidden beneath the roots of an ancient oak. The deeper he went, the colder the air became, and the silence grew so heavy it pressed against his chest. His lantern carved a weak circle of light, barely keeping the darkness at bay, and then he heard them. Whispers. Hundreds of voices, low and restless, as though carried on a breath that never ended. Shadows shifted along the walls. The stories say he had crossed the threshold between the living and the dead. There, he found the river of black water, a boundary no mortal was meant to cross. On the far side, among the countless pale figures drifting like smoke, he saw her, his wife. Her face was hollow with sorrow, yet her eyes were fixed on him with longing. Aura cried out, stepping closer to the river's edge. But the waters pulled at him like hands, and his lantern wavered. From the darkness beside him, a pale figure appeared. No face, no name, only a voice that cut like stone. If your flame dies, you are ours. The farmer tightened his grip, but his body trembled. He begged to cross, to take his wife's hand, to bring her back. She reached toward him, her voice little more than a sigh carried by the dead. But the lantern flickered. It sputtered. And then, it went out. The cavern collapsed into silence. Aura's was never seen again. The next morning, hunters found his lantern lying cold at the edge of the forest, its glass still warm to the touch. From that day forward, no villager dared to carry light into the woods at night. For they believed Aura's had become something else, a wanderer of the dark. Even now, it is said, if you light a lantern on a moonless night and whisper his name, Aura's will appear. Not as a man, but as a guide, to lead you into the underworld, where your own flame will be tested. The underworld is not a tale to frighten children. It is a promise, carved deep into the bones of existence. A place where time stands still, where every whisper of the dead echoes louder than the living's scream. When your final breath fades, the gates will open. And whether you descend in chains, or wander as a shadow, remember this: the underworld does not forget. It only waits for you. So tell me, if you had to cross into the underworld, what would be waiting for you on the other side?